Good morning, students. This is the fourth lecture for proton NMR spectroscopy. We are in the study of the anisotropic effect. Few examples were discussed in the yesterday's class. Let us discuss the anisotropic effect in other type of compounds. Say the anisotropic effect in aldehyde. That is, say example as formaldehyde or any other aldehyde. Now, similar to alkene, in an aldehyde group where the carbon and oxygens are sp2 hybridized, hence the geometry is a planar. So similar to alkene, the aldehyde group is also a planar. When we apply certain amount of external magnetic field, this will induce to circulate the pi electron cloud of aldehyde group to be circulate above the plane and below the plane. This is circulating electron cloud above and below the plane of aldehyde group to produce a secondary magnetic field. Which is diamagnetic at exactly center of carbon and oxygen nuclei. Now this is secondary magnetic field. This is secondary magnetic field. Now a secondary magnetic field is produced of two types, diamagnetic and also paramagnetic. The secondary magnetic field is diamagnetic exactly the center of carbon and oxygen nuclei, and it is paramagnetic at outside the carbon and oxygens. That is a paramagnetic field. Whereas it is diamagnetic field. We know the paramagnetic field is also referred as de-shielding zone. Whereas the diamagnetic zone is referred as shielding zone. So this is the anisotropic effect. Let us find out what is its effect on the delta value of the aldehyde protons. Now you see, the hydrogens of aldehyde group are situated or lying under paramagnetic field. This is a paramagnetic field. That is, it is a de-shielding zone. So the both hydrogens or hydrogen of aldehyde group are lying under de-shielding zone or paramagnetic zone. Therefore, the protons are de-shielded and their signals are appear at higher delta value. De-shielded and appear at high delta value. That means when the protons are de-shielded, they require less energy for their transition, spin transition, and absorbed energy at lower frequency. When the energy is absorbed at lower frequency, what happens? The signals are appear at higher delta value. Those protons are called as de-shielded protons. So similar to alkene, the aldehyde protons are also under paramagnetic effect or lying under paramagnetic field, therefore de-shielded. But when compared with alkene protons, the aldehyde protons are much more de-shielded. That is, alkene protons are less de-shielded, but aldehyde protons are much more de-shielded due to the anisotropic effect as well as the mesomeric effect of aldehyde group. That is minus M effect. Now both effects. One is minus mesomeric effect, where the minus M, where the oxygen is more electronegative, hence withdraw the electrons. The electron movement is towards oxygen side. That is, the total electrons are shifted towards the oxygen side, where the carbon get a partially positive charge. When the hydrogens attached by partially positive charged carbon, the electron density around the hydrogens are further decreased. Therefore, due to mesomeric effect, minus M effect, as well as due to the anisotropic effect, the aldehyde protons are much more de-shielded when compared with the alkene protons. Let us discuss few more examples or few more compounds for anisotropic effect. Say example of annulenes. Annulenes. Now annulenes are an aromatic compounds, a larger cyclic compounds which consisting of alternative double bonds. These are also aromatic compounds, and all carbons associated with the annulenes belongs to sp2 hybridized, hence the whole geometry is planar. For example, you take an example for the annuline. Now, there are 18 carbons in the chain, therefore it is 18 annuline. 18 annuline. So depending upon the ring size, it can be named. There are 18 carbons associated, hence it is regarded as 18 annuline. Now it is a cyclic structure which consisting alternative double bond. One double bond, single bond, double bond here, single bond, double bond here, double bond, double bond, double bond, double bond, double bond. Now you can see there is a alternative double bonds, and every carbon attached by one hydrogen. Hydrogen here, hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. Now this is the annuline structure where it has a 12 carbon, each carbon bearing one hydrogen. There is an alternative double bond. It is an aromatic compound, and all carbons belongs to sp2, and hence it is a planar. Due to the number of carbons, 18 carbons are involved in the formation of a ring, therefore it is called as 18 annuline. Now there are 18 protons, every carbon bearing one hydrogen. 18 carbons bearing 18 hydrogens. The hydrogen, 6 hydrogens are situated inside the ring, 12 hydrogens are situated outside the ring. Now it is a planar molecule. Say for example, imagine this is an annuline. It oriented. Now it oriented in a plane. When we apply external magnetic field to this, there is a circulating electron cloud above and below the plane of annuline to produce secondary magnetic field. Here total 12 pi electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, total 18 pi electrons are involved in the circulation. Therefore the secondary magnetic field, whatever generated due to the circulating pi electron cloud above and below the plane, it is in a huge extent. That is, large extent of secondary magnetic field is generated because there is a 18 pi electrons are involved in the circulation above and below the plane. So because of huge amount of secondary magnetic field, similar to aromatic compounds, it is called as ring current. Now you can see where the ring current is diamagnetic, exactly center of the ring, similar to benzene, which we are discussed in the yesterday's class. So similar to benzene, the ring current is diamagnetic, exactly center of the ring. This is diamagnetic, whereas the ring current is paramagnetic at outside the ring. Now inside the ring current is diamagnetic, outside the ring it is paramagnetic. It is paramagnetic. You can see the 12 hydrogens outside the ring are situated or lying under paramagnetic field. The 12 hydrogens are lying under paramagnetic field. therefore more deshielded, therefore more deshielded, and their signals are appear at higher delta value due to the anisotropic effect. Now similarly, the inside there is a 6 hydrogen. The 6 inside hydrogens are situated or lying under diamagnetic ring current. Just now we discussed where the ring current is diamagnetic, exactly center of the ring, where the 6 hydrogens are situated inside the ring. Therefore, these 6 hydrogen can experience the diamagnetic effect of ring current. Therefore, all the 6 protons are much more shielded, whereas outer protons are more deshielded, inside protons are more shielded. These protons are shielded. So all the 6 hydrogen situated inside the ring are more shielded. Therefore, their signals are appear at upfield value. That means at lower delta value. Lower delta value. Low delta means higher frequency absorption. So 12 outside hydrogens are situated under paramagnetism, paramagnetic ring current, therefore more deshielded and absorbed energy at lower frequency. The signals are appear at higher delta value. Whereas inside protons are lying under diamagnetic ring current, hence absorbed energy at higher frequency, therefore the signals appear at lower delta value, and the 6 inside protons are more shielded protons. So this is about the anisotropic effect in an aniline. So in this way, unsaturated hydrocarbons as well as the aromatic hydrocarbons, where the absorption frequency of protons are depends upon anisotropic effect, means depends upon the orientation of the molecule. We already discussed that the effect is different from one orientation to other orientation. So we should consider in what way the molecules are oriented. In that way the proton absorption frequencies are lie. Is it clear? So with this, all the factors affecting the delta values are covered, the factors which are included in your syllabus. Let us move to next topic. Now, spin-spin coupling. The next topic is a fresh topic, spin-spin coupling. It is also called as spin-spin splitting. Spin-spin coupling or spin-spin splitting. Let us discuss what is spin-spin coupling or what is spin-spin splitting. Now you consider one example, say CH3 CH2OH. Now the 3 protons of CH3 group are equivalent, hence A group. Group A, the 2 protons of CH2 are equivalent, B group. The 2 protons of CH2 are non-equivalent with respect to CH3. These group of protons are different from the 2 protons of CH2. This is A group, this is B group. And other one, C. The OH proton is different from the CH2 proton and as well as CH3 proton with respect to chemical environment or electron density. So this molecule consists of 3 groups of proton or 3 sets of proton, set A, set B and set C. We already discussed that all the 3 protons of CH3 are equivalent, belongs to one group, absorbed energy at the same frequency produced one signal. Similarly, the 2CH2 proton absorbed energy at the same frequency, but it is different from CH3. So second signal. This is the third signal now. Now we have three signals. One signal corresponding to A proton, A set of proton. The second signal corresponds to B set of proton. This is C set of proton. This is expected spectrum. This is expected spectrum. So we would expect every set of equivalent protons in a molecule to be appear with one signal of one line. This is one signal or one line for CH3 set of proton. This is second signal or second line for CH2 set of proton. This is third one for OH proton. We know according to the factors influencing, more electron density protons are appear at lower delta value. Low electron density protons are appear at higher delta value. Accordingly, the OH appear at higher delta value, that is downfield value. CH3 appear at upfield value, that is lower delta value or upfield value. So whatever it may be. Now, this is the molecule we considered for the study, and we expected its spectrum to be appear like this. One line for A proton, second line for B proton, third line for C proton. Is it clear? Coming to our topic. The signals as expecting from each set of equivalent protons are not normally appearing as a single line. Are you following? The signal from every set of equivalent protons in a molecule are not normally appearing as a single line, but appearing with more than one line. The signals from every set of equivalent protons are appearing with more than one line. Say, in this case, the same molecule where we are expected a C set of proton, that is OH set of proton, to be appear with one line, but practically it appearing with three lines. You can see a C proton signal, instead of appearing with one line, it appearing with three lines. This is C. Are you following? Similarly, the B set of proton, that is CH2 proton, is not appearing again with a one line or single line, but it appearing with five lines. With five lines. 1, 2, 3, this is 4, this is 5. B set of proton. Are you following? Now coming to A set of proton, instead of appearing with a single line, it appearing with three lines like this. This is observed spectrum. Are you following? You can observe the difference. The signals, the number of signals are same. Three signals are there. In the second one, there is a three signals. Number of signals, there is no difference in the number of signals. Number of signals are same. You can see. This is expected spectrum, where we are expected from each set of equivalent proton to be appear as a single line. But practically, when we record its spectrum, we will get the spectrum like this. This is expected spectrum, this is observed spectrum. What happens? Instead of appearing a single line for an equivalent set of proton, A is split into three lines, appearing with three lines. B set of protons are appearing with five lines. C set of proton is appearing with three lines. So this is the observed spectrum. Are you following? That is every set of proton, every set of equivalent proton singlet signal, that is single line signal, is splitting into more than one line. Are you following? Say for example, you consider this as a CH3 signal, one line. Practically it appearing with more than one line. What happens? A single line is split into more than one line, splitting into more than one line. Are you following? That is, a signal from every set of equivalent protons, they're appearing with more than one line. It is due to coupling of nuclear spin produced by one set of proton with the nuclear spin produced by adjacent set of proton. Are you following? Say, this is B set, CH2 A set. I am separating the hydrogen. This is C, hydrogen. Hydrogen, you can see. Now, a nuclear spin produced by a set of proton. Say this is a set of proton. A nuclear spin of a set of proton. Similarly, nuclear spin of B set of proton. The nuclear spin of C set of proton. Are you following? So, the appearance of signal from every set of equivalent proton with more than one line is due to the coupling of the nuclear spin produced by one set of proton with what? With the nuclear spin produced by its adjacent set. That means the nuclear spin produced by CH3 proton is coupled with the nuclear spin produced by CH2 proton, because for CH3 the CH2 protons are adjacent. In the same way, the nuclear spin produced by CH2 proton coupled with the CH3 proton, because CH3, CH2 are adjacent. Similarly, the nuclear spin produced by CH2 proton also coupled with the nuclear spin produced by OH proton. In the same way, the nuclear spin of OH proton coupled with the nuclear spin of CH2 proton. Is it clear? That is, the coupling of nuclear spin produced by one set of proton with the nuclear spin produced by its adjacent. It is called as spin-spin coupling. Is it clear? Spin-spin coupling. Now, the spin-spin coupling resulted a single line signal for every set of proton, spin coupled proton will be split into more than one line. One line is split into more than one line for one signal. Is it clear? Therefore, it is also called as spin-spin splitting. Spin-spin splitting. What is spin-spin coupling? Coupling of a nuclear spin produced by one set of proton with its adjacent is called as spin-spin coupling. That resulted the splitting of signal related to each set of equivalent proton as more than one line. Therefore, the phenomena is also called as spin-spin splitting. Spin-spin splitting. Is it clear? So, due to the spin-spin coupling, the signal corresponding to CH3 is split into three lines. Due to coupling of spin-spin coupling for a CH2, its signal is also split into 5 lines. The OH proton signal is also split into 3 lines, because the OH proton is coupled with the middle CH2, as these two are adjacent. It is called as spin-spin coupling. Always the spin coupled proton signal, so whatever it may be, always the spin coupled proton signal is appear with more than one line. Wherever the protons present, if involved in the coupling, involved in the spin coupling, the signal must be appear with more than one line. That is, a splitted signals are appeared, more than one line signals are appeared. The spin uncoupled proton, if any proton that not involved in the spin coupling, those proton signals always appear as expected as one line, as one line. Is it clear? Now coming to further study. For CH3 proton, a single line is split into 3 lines, whereas the CH2 proton, a single line is split into 5 lines. A OH proton single line is split into 3 lines. Why? Why 3 lines for A proton? Why 5 lines for B proton? Why again 3 lines for A proton? That is, the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal. Any proton that involved in the coupling, we already discussed, its signal will be appear with more than line. A question arises, how many lines? How many lines? A proton, when involved in the spin coupling, its signal must be split into more than one line. Next, how many lines are appeared? That is, the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal is given by n+1 rule. n+1 rule. Are you following? The number of lines, this is one signal, this is second signal, this is third signal. The first consists 3 lines, second consists 5 lines, the last one consisting again 3 lines. That is, the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal is given by n+1 rule, where n is equal to number of adjacent protons to which the first set coupled. N is equal to number of adjacent proton to which the first set of protons are coupled. Let us find out why CH3 appear with 3 lines. Say, now for A proton, for CH3 proton, that is A proton, it is coupled with CH2 proton. For CH3 group, how many adjacents are there? 2 adjacent. N is equal to 2. Therefore, CH3 proton coupled with its 2 adjacents. So N value is 2. Therefore, N is equal to 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. Are you following? A CH3 proton coupled with how many number of adjacents? There are 2 adjacents. CH2 has 2 protons. So N value for CH3, the N value adjacent proton for CH3 is 2. That is, N value is 2. N plus 1. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. Therefore, CH3 signal appear as a 3 lines. Now coming to B. B means a signal for CH2 protons. A CH2 proton coupled with both CH3 proton and also OH proton. That means a CH2 proton coupled with 3 CH3 proton, 1 OH proton. The total couplings, the CH2 proton coupled with total 4 hydrogens. 3 belongs to CH3 group, 1 belongs to OH group. Total 4 protons. It involved in the coupling with total 4 proton. For CH2, the N value will be 4. Therefore, 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 lines. is equal to 5 lines. Therefore, the CH2 signal appear with 5 lines. 5 lines. In the same way, for C proton, where the OH is coupled with only CH2 proton, there are two adjacents for OH proton. That means for OH proton, the N value is 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. So it appear with 3 lines. Is it clear? So the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal will be given by N plus 1 rule, where N is equal to number of adjacent. For CH3 there are two adjacent. 2 plus 1, its signal is 3 lines. For CH2 there are 4 adjacents. 4 plus 1, 5. So it appear with 5 lines. For OH proton there are two adjacents. 2 plus 1, it appear as a 3 lines. Is it clear? Next. Now you can take other example. CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl. N propyl chloride. A set of proton, B set of proton, C set of proton. Now coming to A coupled with B. A proton coupled with B. That is A proton coupled with 2 hydrogens of B set. N value is 2. For A, N is equal to 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. 3 lines. So A signal is appear with 3 lines. B proton. Now you can see the B proton coupled with 3 CH3 proton and 2 CH2 proton. So B proton coupled, B set of proton coupled with 5 adjacents. 3 CH3, 2 CH2 of terminal, total 5, N value is 5, 5 plus 1 is equal to 6 lines. It appear as a 6 lines. Similarly, C proton coupled with middle CH2 proton, B proton. Therefore, 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. 3 lines. Let us, it has a spectrum like this. For C there is a 3 lines. For C there is a 3 lines. For B there is a 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This is for B signal, B proton signal. A proton signal has a 3 lines. 1, 2 and 3. This is the A proton. So this is the spectrum of N propyl chloride. A proton 3 lines. Why 3 lines? 2 plus 1 3 lines. B proton 6 lines. Why 6 lines? 5 plus 1 6 lines. What is 5? 5 is the number of adjacent to which the B proton coupled. B proton coupled with 3 CH3 2 terminal CH2. Total 5. 5 plus 1 is equal to 6 lines. So it appear as a 6 lines. Similarly, the terminal CH2 coupled with its adjacent. How many adjacents are there? There are 2 adjacent, belongs to middle CH2 proton group. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 lines. 3 lines. Is it clear? So the number of lines will be given by N plus 1 rule. Now coming to another question. What is the intensity of each line? So the number of lines for a spin coupled proton, however, given by N plus 1 rule. Next doubt arised, what will be the intensity of each line within one split signal or multiplet signal? You can see. Now in the C proton signal, this is short line, this is long line, again this is short line. That is the height of within one signal. Within one signal, the height of every line. Line 1, line 2, line 3. There are 3 lines in the C proton signal, 6 lines in the B proton signal, again 3 lines in the A proton signal. That is the height of every line in one signal. This is one signal, this is one signal, this is another signal. So height of every line in one signal will be given by Pascal triangle. We will study how to write the height of the every line in a multiplet signal or within one multiplet signal with the help of theory of spin-spin coupling. That is Pascal triangle. So the intensity of every line in a split signal or multiplet signal will be given by Pascal triangle. Let us discuss few examples with zero adjacent, with n number of adjacents. Say n value, multiplicity, intensity, signal intensity, designation, n value, multiplicity, designation, intensity, example, presentation, signal presentation. This is n value. The first column belongs to n value. This is multiplicity, that is how many number of lines. Designation, how to designate. And this is intensity, that is height of every line in a signal. This is example what we are going to study, how to present the spectrum, how to present the signal. Suppose if a set of a proton in a molecule has zero adjacents, n is equal to 0. So when a set of a proton has zero adjacent, it not involved in the coupling, therefore there is no splitting of signal, that is a signal is appear as a singlet. The multiplicity is a singlet, designated with small s. Are you following? When a set of a proton in a molecule has zero adjacent, there is no adjacents. When there is no adjacents, no question of spin coupling. When there is no question of spin coupling, the signal is appearing as a singlet, single line called a singlet, designated with small s. The height is belongs to 1. Say example, you can take CH3Cl. A CH3 proton has no adjacents, no other protons to couple. Therefore, it can be designated as singlet, like this, a singlet. Is it clear? Now, if there is one adjacent, if a set of proton coupled with one adjacent, where n is equal to 1, what happens? According to n plus 1 rule, 1 plus 1, the signal is split into two lines. 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. So if a set of proton has one adjacent, then its signal is split into two lines called as doublet. It is called as doublet, designated with a small d. Now there are two lines in the doublet. The intensities will be equal, that is intensity of first line is equal to intensity of second line. The intensity will be 1:1. Example, CH3 CHCl2, CH3 CHCl2, 1,1 dichloroethane, where the CH3 group coupled with CH proton. How many CH protons are there? 1. For CH3 group, it has only one adjacent, where n is equal to 1. Therefore, the CH3 group, according to n plus 1 rule, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 lines. It is split into doublet. 2 line signal is called as doublet, designated with small d within the parenthesis. Now it can be designated with a doublet signal is represented in this way. The two lines, this is one signal, the two lines with equal intensity, 1:1 ratio. Now if a set of protons, say, has two adjacents, say n is equal to 2. If a set of proton in a molecule has two adjacent protons, that is n is equal to 2, according to n plus 1 rule, what happens? 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 line. So a set of proton, if coupled with its two adjacents, n plus 1 rule n plus 1 rule resulted the 3 lines. The 3 line signal is called as triplet, designated with small t. A triplet is designated with small t. Now intensity, now the 3 lines consisting of the intensity of 1:2, 2:2, again 1. So example CH3, CH2, Cl. You take the CH3. Now in this example, ethyl chloride, in this example, you consider a signal only for CH3. Here the CH3 coupled with the 2 CH2 protons. Therefore 2 plus 1, its signal is appear as a 3. It is represented as 1:2, 2:2 and again 1. 1:2, 2:1. This is the intensity ratio. Now coming to the other example. 3. If a set of protons in a molecule coupled with 3 adjacents, that is n is equal to 3. What happens when there is a 3 adjacent? A set of proton coupled with 3 adjacent, 3 plus 1 become 4. So its signal, a set of proton signal is split into 4 lines. The 4 line signal is called as quartet. Quartet. Quartet represented with small q. A quartet signal is represented with small q. The 4 line intensities are like 1:2, 3:2, 3:2, again 1. There are 4 lines. When n is equal to 3, the signal appear with 4 lines called as quartet, designated as a small q. The 4 line intensities are like 1:2, 3:2, 3:1. Now example, again you can take CH3, CH2, Cl. Now you consider a signal for CH2 proton, where the CH2 coupled with its 3 CH3 proton, 3 adjacents. What happens? 1 plus 3, it become quartet, 4 lines. It is represented as 1:2, 3:2, 3:1. The signal is presented as 1:2, 2:2, 1:2, 3:2, 3:2 and again 1. Is it clear? Now other example. Now I can write on top as it is not visible. If there are 4 adjacents, if n is equal to 4, a set of proton if coupled with its 4 adjacents. So n plus, according to n plus 1 rule, when a set of proton coupled with the 4 adjacent, 4 plus 1, it become, its signal is split into 5 lines. 4 plus 1 become 5. That is, a signal for that set of proton is split into 5 lines. The signal with 5 lines is called as quintet. 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 It is represented with capital Q. Capital Q. The intensities are, there are 5 lines in the quintet. The height of each line of a quintet become 1:4:6:4:, again 1. There are 5 lines, 1:4:6:4:1. Intensity ratio of every line in a quintet signal is 1:4:6:4:1 and 1. Now you can take example CH3, CH2, CH, Now you observe a middle CH2 proton signal where it coupled with 3 CH3 proton, 1 CH proton, 3 CH3 proton, 1 CH proton. How many protons to which the middle CH2 coupled? Total 4. 4 plus 1, what happens? 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 lines. So the middle CH2 proton signal, set of proton signal is split into quintet, that is 5 lines. It can be represented as, a signal can be represented as 1:4:6:4:, and again 1. This is representation. A signal can be represented with 1:4:6:4:1. Is it clear? Now, this is 4 adjacent. If there are 5 adjacents, 5 plus 1, 6. So the signal is split into 6 lines called as sextet, represented with a capital S. The intensities are 1:5:10:10:5:1. A set of proton, if has 5 adjacent, 5 plus 1, its signal is split into 6 lines. The 6 line intensities are like 1:5:10:10:5:, and again 1. Further, a signal from 5 lines onwards, the lines may be overlapped. The lines may be overlapped. Hence, the signal is, that is, the number of lines are not clearly visible after quintet onwards. Hence, the signal is considered as multiplet and represented with small m. Multiplet. So, this is about a spin-spin coupling, number of lines for a spin-coupled proton signal, and the intensity of each line. Further, there is a condition. Spin coupling is possible. Spin coupling is possible only between the protons which have different frequencies. Are you following? Number 1. Spin coupling is possible between the proton when their absorption frequencies are different. Number 2. Spin-spin coupling is possible between the protons which are on adjacent. There are 2 conditions. First condition, coupling of the nuclear spins of 2 sets of protons are possible when these 2 are resonating at a different frequency, are absorbing energy at a different frequency, and must be on adjacent. For example, according to the 2 condition which we learned, you can take CH3, CH3, where the frequencies are like 0.9 ppm, 0.9 ppm. Delta is equal to absorption frequency, that is delta is equal to 0.9 ppm and 0.9 ppm. Now there are 2 sets of protons, CH3, CH3. There are 2 type of protons, but unfortunately the first CH3 group with absorption frequency 0.9 and absorption frequency 0.9. However, these 2 are on adjacent. The 2 CH3 groups are on adjacent, but the frequencies are same. When the frequencies are same, there is no coupling. There is no spin coupling. So, according to the condition, spin coupling is possible between the protons of different frequency, where here the frequencies are same, therefore no coupling. No coupling. When the protons are not coupled, a signal appears as a singlet. Is it clear? Similarly, you take CH3, C double bond O, CH2 and Cl. Say 2.2 ppm delta value for CH3CO group, say 4.7 ppm for CH2. You see, there are 2 sets of proton, one appearing at 2.2, the absorption frequency for CH3 2.2, absorption frequency for CH2 is 4.7. So the frequencies are different. Is it clear? But these 2 are not adjacent. However, frequencies are different but are not adjacent. Therefore, no coupling. No coupling. A singlet, when there is no coupling, a singlet is appear for CH3, singlet is appear for CH2, like this. a CH2 signal, a CH3 signal. Is it clear? Similarly, you take benzene. Benzene. There are 6 hydrogen on benzene carbons. Now, however adjacent, say 7.2 ppm, 7.2 ppm. The protons are adjacent, but the frequencies are same, no coupling. Therefore, singlet. Singlet. Now, let us take other examples. CH3, CH2, Cl, ethyl chloride. 1.4 for CH3 proton, 3.9 for CH2 proton. You can see there are 2 sets of proton with frequencies. For CH3 it is 1.4, for CH2 it is 3.9. Frequencies are different. The frequencies are different for 2 sets of proton. Similarly, CH3, CH2 are adjacent. They are situated adjacently. The 2 sets are adjacent with respect to each other. Is it clear? Therefore, coupled. It fulfills the conditions of spin-spin coupling. What are the conditions? The proton must have different frequency and must be situated adjacently. These are the 2 conditions. Now, in this molecule, the frequencies are different and are adjacent position. Therefore, coupled. Therefore, coupled with each other. When the spin coupling takes place or spin coupling is possible, what happens? The signals are appear with more than one line. That is, a multiplicity signals are appeared. Here, in this case, the CH3 coupled with 2 adjacents. CH3 coupled with 2 adjacent. 2 plus 1, 3 lines. That is a triplet. So that the CH3 signal appear as a triplet with 1:2:1 intensity. Similarly, the CH2 coupled with CH3. So n value is 3. 3 plus 1, what happens? 4 line. 4 line signal is known as quartet. Now, the frequencies are different and the sets of protons are adjacent positions. Therefore, coupled. What happens? When coupled, the signals for each set of proton is appear with a multiplet. Now, a CH3 coupled with 2 hydrogen, 2 plus 1 triplet. A CH2 proton coupled with 3 hydrogen, 3 plus 1 quartet. So, CH3 appear as a triplet, CH2 appear as a quartet. It can be presented like this. A CH2 as quartet. 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is a quartet signal for CH2 proton. When a signal is appear as a quartet, what will be the intensity? 1:3:3:1. 1:3:3:1. The line intensities are 1:3:3:1. Now a CH3 proton signal appear as a triplet. 1, 2 and 1. Triplet means there is a 3 lines. This is a signal of CH3. What will be the intensity when there is a 3 line, when there is a triplet? The intensity lying 1:2:1. The line intensity is 1:2:1. Is it clear? So this is about spin-spin coupling. Now coming to the other topic. Let us study what is n+1 rule and what is Pascal triangle. Why the spin coupled proton signals are appearing exactly like doublet, or exactly like triplet, or exactly like quartet, or exactly like quintet. And why the line intensity for doublet is 1:1, why the line intensity for triplet is 1:2:1, and why 1:3:3:1 for quartet, and why 1:4:6:4:1 for quintet. That explain about the theory of spin-spin coupling. Are you following? When a set of proton coupled with its adjacent, we learned about when a set of proton coupled with its adjacent, the signal is split into more than one line The number of lines for a signal will be given by n plus 1 rule that we learned. What is n plus 1 rule? Why the signal must appear according to n plus 1 rule? Why the signals are appearing like doublet, triplet, quartet, etc. And what is the line intensity? What Pascal triangle stands for? Why the doublet appearing exactly 1:1? Why the triplet with 1:2:1? And why the quartet with 1:3:3:1? That we can learn by considering about the theory of spin-spin coupling. Coming to theory of spin-spin coupling. Theory of spin-spin coupling. Theory of spin-spin coupling. Now, when a set of proton coupled with its adjacent set of proton, are you following? When the nuclear spin of a set of proton coupled with its adjacent set of proton nuclear spin, then the adjacent set of proton nuclear spin may be oriented in a different way with respect to each orientation of first set. Again, when the nuclear spin of one set of proton coupled with the nuclear spin of its adjacent set of proton, then the nuclear spin of adjacent set of proton may be oriented in different way with respect to each orientation of first set. Each orientation of first set. Is it clear? Therefore, here the number of lines for a spin coupled proton is equal to number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal will be equal to number of orientations of nuclear spin of adjacent. Are you following? Again, you take one set of proton, a set of proton nuclear spin coupled with its adjacent set of proton nuclear spin. Then what happens? The adjacent set of proton nuclear spin is oriented in different way with respect to each orientation of first one. Say this is first set of proton, this is second set of proton. When the first set of proton coupled with the second set, the second set of proton nuclear spin may be oriented in a different way with respect to each orientation of first set of proton. Is it clear? Now further, the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal is equal to or related to number of possible orientations of adjacent. Number of possible orientations of adjacent. Is it clear? Next, the intensity of each line for a spin coupled proton signal is equal or related to number of possible combinations in each orientations of adjacent. The intensity of each line for a spin coupled proton signal is equal or related to number of possible combinations in each orientation of adjacent protons. This is the theory of spin-spin coupling. Let us study with the help of specific examples or discuss with the help of examples. Example, now we have example as CH3, CH, Cl and Cl. Now I am going to study the signal for CH proton. These two are adjacent and are resonating with the different frequencies. Let us study CH3 proton signal. Study of CH3 proton signal. Now, before coupling, a CH3 proton has degenerated energy state. This is degenerated energy state of CH3 proton. When we apply external magnetic field to the CH3, what happens? It split into two energy levels. This is lower energy level, this is higher energy level. I is equal to minus half, I is equal to plus half. Is it clear? Now this is the molecule consisting of two sets of protons, CH3 and CH, where these two protons are adjacent and have different frequency, therefore coupled. Let us study a signal for CH3 proton. A CH3 proton, this is degenerated energy state. When we apply certain extent of external magnetic field, according to 2i plus 1 rule, which we learned in the principle, its degenerated energy state is split into two energy levels: lower energy level, higher energy level. Lower with I value minus half, higher with I value plus half. Is it clear? So this is the condition before coupling. There is no coupling. Now when it coupled, when CH3 group of proton coupled with CH proton, what happens? The CH proton, when coupled, after coupling, when coupled, the CH proton nuclear spin may be oriented in different way with respect to each orientation of CH3 proton. This is one orientation of CH3, this is another orientation of CH3. Let us write the possible orientations for CH proton, not CH3. CH3 one orientation, CH3 second orientation. Is it clear? Now when CH3 coupled with the CH, the CH may orient in different way with respect to each orientation of CH3. Now in a CH group there is only one proton. The one proton may be oriented, this is CH proton. The CH proton may be oriented parallel with respect to this, parallel with respect to the higher orientation of CH3, or the CH proton may be oriented anti-parallel with respect to this. Is it clear? Now the CH proton may be oriented anti-parallel with respect to this orientation, or parallel orientation with respect to this orientation. Is it clear? According to theory, when a set of proton coupled with its adjacent, the adjacent proton may take in different, oriented in different way with respect to each orientation of first. So with respect to this orientation of CH3, the CH proton may be oriented parallel or anti-parallel. With respect to this orientation of CH3, the CH proton again may be oriented as anti-parallel or parallel. Is it clear? So the CH proton is oriented in a different way. Let us find out. Now this orientation and this orientation are same. This orientation and this orientation is same. And this orientation and this orientation is same. Say This is first orientation. This is also first orientation, as these two orientation for CH are same. This is second orientation for CH. This is also second. These two orientations are same. Is it clear? Now, when CH3 coupled with the CH proton, the CH proton here is oriented in two ways. One orientation and two orientations. Is it clear? Therefore, as we learned, the number of lines for a spin coupled proton signal will be equal to number of orientations of adjacent. Here, for CH3 proton signal depends upon number of orientations of CH proton. Here the CH proton has only two orientations. Therefore, the CH3 proton signal appear with two lines called as doublet. Therefore, CH3 appear as doublet. CH3 appear as doublet. Is it clear? Now, again, intensity of each line is related to number of possible combinations in each orientations of adjacent. Here, in the first orientation, only one possibility. In the second orientation, again one possibility is there. Therefore, the CH3 appear as doublet with 1:1 intensity. With 1:1 intensity. Is it clear? Now, according to n+1 rule, where CH3 coupled with CH, there is only one adjacent. N1+1 is equal to doublet. So CH3 coupled with CH, N is equal to 1. 1+1 doublet. A CH3 signal appear as a doublet. Why appearing as a doublet? Because when the CH3 coupled with CH, the CH may be take up a different orientation. There are two orientations are possible for CH proton nuclei. Therefore, the CH3 appear as a doublet. The number of lines is equal to number of orientation for adjacent. Similarly, why 1:1? Because in each orientation there is one combination, only one possibility. Therefore, 1:1. In the first orientation there is only one possibility. In the second orientation again there is one possibility. Therefore, 1:1 intensity. Now coming to other. Now you take CH3, CH2, Cl. CH3, CH2, Cl. Now, a degenerated energy state. Now again, we should calculate or consider CH3 signal. A degenerated energy state of CH3, when we apply external magnetic field to this, it is split into two energy levels. Split into two energy levels. Is it clear? Now, when CH3 proton coupled with CH2 proton nuclear spin, the two protons of CH2 are oriented in different way. Let us write the orientation for CH2. Now, with respect to this orientation, the two protons of CH2 are parallel. This is first proton, this is second proton. Is it clear? What we are learning? We are learning about the theory of spin-spin coupling in order to get the number of lines for a spin coupled proton. Now, this is the ethyl chloride example. CH3 coupled with CH2. A CH3, before applying external magnetic field, it has a degenerated energy state. When we apply certain amount of external magnetic field, it will be split into two energy levels. Is it clear? This is before coupling. When coupled, when CH3 coupled with CH2, the two protons of CH2 are oriented in different way. Let us work out what are the orientations possible for CH2. The first proton of CH2, second proton of CH2 are oriented parallel with respect to this, or the both protons, first proton, second proton of CH2 may be oriented anti-parallel with respect to this. These two are same, these two are different, opposite. So the two protons of CH2 may be oriented parallel with respect to this orientation of CH3, or the two protons are oriented anti-parallel with respect to this orientation of CH3. Is it clear? Now let us work out in another way. First proton may be parallel, second proton with anti-parallel. So with respect to this orientation of CH3, first proton may be parallel, second proton may be anti-parallel. Now this combination arises in two ways. Here the first is parallel, second is anti-parallel. Or we can write first anti-parallel, second parallel. Is it clear? Now you can see. What are these? These are the spin orientations of CH2 protons. Two protons of CH2 are parallel. Two protons may be anti-parallel. Now, middle combination. One parallel with one anti-parallel. First is parallel, second is anti-parallel. In the another way, first may be anti-parallel, second may be parallel. So, now these are the possible orientation for CH2 when CH3 coupled. How many possibilities are there? Three orientation. This is one orientation. This is second orientation. This is third orientation. Now this orientation is same, but the combination is different. What is the orientation? One parallel with one anti-parallel. Both will have one parallel, one anti-parallel, but combination is different. That means first is parallel, second is anti-parallel. First is anti-parallel, second is parallel. Makes no difference. Is it clear? So the total number of orientations for CH2 proton are 3. This is one orientation, this is second orientation, this is third orientation. Therefore, a CH3 signal appear as a triplet. A CH3 orientation for CH2 reflected. A triplet signal to be appear for CH3. Is it clear? Now, in the first orientation, there is one combination. In the second orientation, there are two combinations. This is first combination, this is second combination. Two combinations. In the third orientation, again one combination. Therefore, a CH3 proton signal appear as a triplet with 1:2:1 intensity. Is it clear? Now apply n+1 rule. Where the CH3 coupled with 2 CH2, n is equal to 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So CH3 proton appear as a triplet. Is it clear? Why triplet? Because to which the CH3 proton is coupled, those protons are oriented in 3 ways. 1, 2, 3. Therefore triplet. Now intensity. The first orientation has one combination, second orientation with two combination, third orientation with one combination. Therefore, a triplet is appeared with 1:2:1 intensity. Is it clear? Now coming to other example. A CH3, CH2Cl, again ethyl chloride. Now a signal for CH2. Now a signal for CH2. According to n+1 rule, CH2 coupled with 3 protons of CH3, that is 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. That is quartet. A CH2 signal is appearing as a quartet. With what? With 1:3:3:1. This we observed. CH2 coupled with 3 protons of CH3. According to n+1 rule, 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. 4 stands for quartet. A signal for CH2 is appear as a quartet with 1:3:3:1 intensity. Let us find out why quartet is appeared, why the intensities are lying like 1:3:3:1. Say, a CH2 proton degenerated energy state, when we apply H0, it has a 2 energy levels. This is H0 application. application of H0. There are two energy levels. Now here, a CH2 when coupled with 3 protons of CH3, the CH3 3 protons are oriented in different way. Let us write what are the orientations possible. First proton, second proton, third proton. First proton of CH3, second proton, third proton of CH3. You see, all the 3 protons may be oriented parallel with respect to this orientation of CH2, or all may be oriented anti-parallel. 1, 2, 3. Now 3 protons of CH3 are parallel with respect to this. 3 protons of CH3 are anti-parallel with respect to this. These are the two orientations. Let us find out the other possibilities. Now, first proton parallel with 2 anti-parallel. First proton is parallel, second proton anti-parallel, third proton anti-parallel. So, what are the combination we chosen? 1 parallel with 2 anti-parallel. This combination can be arranged in 3 ways. That is, first anti-parallel, second parallel, third anti-parallel. What is the combination? 1 parallel with 2 anti-parallel. First parallel, second, third anti-parallel, or first anti-parallel, second parallel, third anti-parallel. So here also 1 parallel with 2 anti-parallel. Combination is different. It can be written in another way. First anti-parallel, second anti-parallel, third parallel. So one parallel with 2 anti-parallel. Here also 1 parallel, 2 anti-parallel. 1 parallel, 2 anti-parallel. What is the difference between the 3? In the first instance, the first is parallel. In the second instance, second is parallel. In the third instance, third is parallel. Now, we can choose another combination. 2 parallel with 1 anti-parallel. The 3 proton, out of 3, 2 may be parallel with 1 anti-parallel. This is different from this orientation. 1 parallel, 2 anti-parallel. Here 2 parallel, 1 anti-parallel. It can also arise in 3 ways. First parallel, second anti-parallel, third parallel. Or first anti-parallel, second parallel, third parallel. Now these are the orientation for CH3. You can see how many orientations are there. This is 1 orientation, this is second orientation, this is third orientation, this is fourth orientation. Therefore quartet. Therefore quartet for CH2 proton. Is it clear? Let us find out the intensity. In the first orientation, the combination is only 1. All are parallel. This is 1. In the second orientation, there is a 3 possibilities, 3 combinations. The second orientation is arranged in 3 ways. 1, 2, 3. Orientations 1, 2, 3. These 3 orientations are same, but combinations are different. 1, 2, 3. Second orientation has 3 combinations. 3. Similarly, third orientation has 3 combinations. The fourth orientation has 1 combination. Is it clear? Now, a CH2 when coupled with CH3, according to n+1 rule, a CH2 proton signal appear as 3 plus 1 is equal to 4 lines. That is a quartet with 1:3:3:1 intensity. Let us apply the theory. A CH2 degenerated energy state, when H0 is applied, there are 2 spin states for CH2. When CH2 coupled with CH3, the 3 protons of CH3 are oriented in this way, or in this way, or in this way, or in this way. So total 4 orientations are possible for CH3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, quartet is appear for CH2. Similarly, in the first orientation, there is only one combination. In the second and third orientation, there are 3 combinations. In the fourth orientation, for CH3, again one combination is possible. That is the combination orientation with a combination ratio is 1:3:3:1. Therefore, a quartet is appear for CH2 with the intensity of 1:3:3:1. This is the theory of spin-spin coupling. Is it clear? So with this, the theory spin-spin coupling and theory of spin-spin coupling is completed. In the next class, we should learn about the types of spin-spin coupling. There are different types of spin-spin coupling: geminal coupling, vicinal coupling, long-range coupling, etc. That we can discuss in the tomorrow's class. Thank you very much. With this, I completed my today's class. Thank you very much.